You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we have more IPL action for you as well as World Cup squads. We're going to be running through some of the big names that are in and some of the big names that are out as well. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm good. World Cup is around the corner. So if your T20 fatigue is already kicking in, bad news for you.
It is. It's going to be about 8 straight months of T20 by the end of it.
It's the worst format. I hate cricket. We're losing cricket to these newbies. Get over yourselves.
There's a lot of rage floating around. That is true. Ross is correct. How you doing, Max?
Yeah, I've got a bit of man flu, and that hasn't been helped by CSK shitting the bed. So spoilers. I'm just be glad for all the naysayers that there isn't 100 World Cup yet, because imagine the rage, the ire.
Maybe they could rebrand it as the 100 World Series like the Americans do. Maybe that's what.
And just have England play against. Japan.
Yeah, other English franchises. Yeah,
yeah.
the 100 World Cup.
That is not a bad shout. That's the kind of idea that people come to this podcast for. And you're making a gesture like they might pay us for that, but they won't. They'll steal it like they usually do. Before we get going, just a reminder to people to make sure you click like and subscribe if you're over on YouTube. Bring those likes in. Let's get 100 likes on this video or something like that. That's what you're supposed to do. Set a target. That seems achievable. And if you are on Spotify or Apple fee, then click follow.
I've got a good idea. I've got a good idea to start. So we want more reviews, right? More reviews mean that we get kind of up to the. So we're going to do a giveaway. That's what we're going to do.
Are we?
We're going to do a cricket podcast.
This is an on-air surprise.
We've been blindsided here.
We're going to do an on-air giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway of a cricket podcast T-shirt at random for the first 10 great reviews. And whoever's the best one out of the first 10 will get a T-shirt. So if you deliver 5-star rating on iPod, what's it called? Apple, iTunes, whatever it is now.
Yeah, iTunes.
Yeah,
Spotify.
There you go. So we want the first 10 best review, and you'll get a T-shirt.
I'm not sure I like that. Tell you something else that I'm not sure I liked. Chennai Super Kings v Punjab Kings. The Kings v the Super Kings, and actually this has been a game that has been going the way of the regular Kings. The Super Kings not so super when it comes to the clash of royalty. It's 5 in a row that Chennai have dropped. Now, Max, I'm going to steal your thunder and I'm going to summarize this. Chennai batted first. They batted really quite slowly, and then they had a little bit of a hit, and then they kind of went a little bit slow again, and that meant they got 162. And then what happened was there was some dew, and Punjab won pretty easily, although for some reason it took about 7 days for them to actually score the winning runs.
So long.
There was a maiden over in there when they needed less than a run a ball with 7 overs to go. I'm pretty sure that's not in the coaching manual. A weird game, as games often are when Punjab Kings are involved.
Almost doing everything possible to lose it, right? And it's just like, if you were to watch that, I said in the Discord channel, it kind of felt like if you hadn't watched the IPL this season and you just watched that, in a microcosm, the level of incompetence on show was so high, you'd be like, this must be fixed. This must be just completely choreographed by somebody. It was baffling of what they were doing.
Yeah, let's get through it quite quickly because we want to leave a bit of time for World Cup squads. Max, what did you think about Chennai going down to the Punjab Kings?
It was I hadn't realised the record was so bad. It's quite interesting because I think you mentioned, didn't you, that actually Punjab got a bowling lineup that's set up quite well to exploit Chapok, and they won the toss and they exploited it pretty well. So fair play to them for that. It was back to, I just thought CSK had righted the ship and got to the point where they know what they're good at again, and then it all went a bit wrong. In fairness, some of that was enforced, right? Patan Rana was injured, had a bit of a niggle, couldn't play. Deshpande, can't believe I'm going to be saying it, but they missed Deshpande, so that he was ill, so that didn't help. And then Deepak Chahar lasted 2 balls, so not ideal, but it's irrelevant. They could have had all their bowling. They wouldn't have defended 162 from the way they batted and the way Punjab played. So, I mean, a lot of credit to Punjab for their bowling effort. But yeah, Chennai were a bit stodgy, weren't they? It shows you just how indebted they are to Shivam Dubé for like excitement in the middle overs, because you look at the other options, like Shivam Dubé gets a golden duck, and you've got Jadeja's up at 4, presumably for left-handedness.
Where was Darryl Mitchell? The guy hit a half century last game.
I know.
Actually played really, really well.
Yeah, and then they just
today.
impacted in Samir Rizvi instead to just waste 23 balls doing nothing when they literally had 3 batters who were better below. Yeah, like like I said, like I just thought they'd sorted themselves out and got to like knowing what they want to do, and then Shivam Dubé gets out and they lost their minds. And it's puzzling. It's not what you're used to seeing from CSK, but it's a concern for the rest of their tournament as well. I mean, you were looking at these 2 Punjab games thinking, yeah, get those 4 points, you're pretty much set for the playoffs. But now it's looking a bit dicey.
Yeah, it is looking a bit dicey. Punjab, Ross, they did a bit of a CSK on CSK here, didn't they? Like they got the strangle on with the spin, and then like it was weird how they chased it down. That has to be said, but it was effective. Like they won this game very comfortably, and that's even with the weirdness.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you've got a new captain, Sam Curran's a relatively new captain, right? You wouldn't say he's like captain loads and loads of cricket, and him taking over from Shikhar Dhawan because of the injury it's been an interesting balance. He's opened himself, he's batted himself at 4, he's batted himself down the order, he's opened the bowling, he's not opened the bowling. It's been a little bit kind of not all over the place, but mixing up. And in this game, they were just like, we play at the Cheapok, we're going to bowl spin an awful lot, and we're not going to sacrifice a load of rubbish deliveries from Harshal Patel. And what I really liked about this is that Rahul Chahar hasn't had a brilliant tournament, hasn't had a brilliant last couple of seasons, I think, if we're being honest with him. And here, he bowled really, really well. Harpreet Brar continues his good season. And I thought Jack was really, really effective at what they were doing. And it did get made a little bit easier by CSK's incompetence. I thought CSK's decision-making played into the Punjab Kings kind of trap, even if they were setting a trap, I don't know. But overall, I thought it was quite a clever performance from the Punjab Kings, which I don't think I'd ever anticipate saying. When it did get to the batting, Johnny Bairstow and Riley Russo both look like they're quite comfortable batting together. And the left-hand, right-hand combination, I think, is quite good. Obviously, the Lord picks up a really lucky wicket of Riley Russo, kind of the inside edge onto the back foot, or then onto the stumps. But when you're in this position where there's a couple of injuries going around, CSK really looked a little bit toothless. I think what's also worrying is that someone like Moeen Ali, Jadeja, like at the Cheapok, they just had nothing to bowl to, right? It's really difficult to defend 160 even at the Cheapok. So, today, a really good performance from Punjab. And I would never, ever like to see Shashank Singh play out a maiden ever again, because there was really no need to do it.
I don't think he was trying. I think he was trying to try the opposite. It just didn't work. It was actually quite well bowled from the Fizz. But
it was actually 6 good leaves.
Why didn't they just, they needed like 25 of 36 balls. Just hit the ball.
It's not like it was like the first over or second over as well, where the ball's hooping around. We can't get anywhere near it. This is like the 14th or 15th over. Like, just come on, man.
Yeah, weird. Anything else from this game? Can Punjab Kings come back and win the World Cup, the World Series of cricket, Max?
Yep. Just a few changes needed. Move over to the UK, get 100 franchise going. There are some available, and investment is open, isn't it?
I would love to see a Punjab Kings.
So actually, a Punjab Kings, like,
and it would make sense.
Punjab Kings
Durham in London.
Yeah. Another London. That makes more sense, doesn't it? We'll have another London side. We don't. Durham don't.
No, we don't want.
Well, third
London
miles
away.
Punjab, London. And then the world is their oyster. No, I don't think so, Jack. I think they've got too much to do. But they've got the next game's against Whipping Boys CSK again, so that'll make the 6-0, and from there, I expect they'll go back to what they were doing. I think it was it four defeats on the spin, and then 2 victories on the spin. So add another W. And
that buttercream is looking buttery. That's all I'm saying, Max.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If they do add another 100 franchise, I think London is the best place for it to be. And I'd probably say Lords would be the best place to be because they have the best food in the press box.
Well, and London Spirit would just be moved out?
Yeah,
have
got one already.
No, play both there. But just give us a few more dates like that.
At Lords.
We want... Basically, I'd take 10 matches.
I want my Lord's curry.
In and out. Curry's good.
Yeah.
I had bangers and mash there. Honestly, Max, the best bangers and mash I've ever had in my life.
Banging bangers.
Ever. Oh, it was just unbelievable.
This is the Nosh chat. Richard Gleeson, 36 years old, making his debut in the IPL for CSK. That was quite a nice moment, wasn't it? Quite unexpected that he was drafted in. I know he's played for kind of some of the other super giant franchises around the globe, but quite of a weird little, not nice little snapshot for it, I thought.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? They need another bowler because Fizz is done now. And he's probably about the only one left that fits the age criteria of over 35 for CSK. So, spot on. I think he did all right, given he got a bit out of the pitch early on. Given the dew and
so
everything.
Did Doob.
A bit tricky.
Got a wicket.
Somehow. I thought Rich Gleeson looked pretty good, but we'll see whether he gets much more of a game. Probably not if Patarana comes back and Deshpande. But nice for him. That'll be a feather in his cap. He can tell his grandkids he was in the IPL.
He's nearly old enough to have grandkids as well, isn't he? Lads, let's take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and we'll talk World Cup squads, I think. Max is going to tell us about Australia. Ross, you can do England, and I'll do all the rest. And so there's quite a lot of squads to do, aren't there? So
we've also got Mumbai Indians beating LSG to talk about. So don't forget that.
Yeah, we'll get that in part 3.
We're doing a World Cup sandwich.
Lovely. World Cup sandwich.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Pod, or podcast, if you want to use our full title. We've got some new Manscaped copy, boys, and I'm excited to get through it. I've not read this, so we'll have
good
to see
live
how
reading.
It goes. Hey there, beach babes. Are you ready to soak up? Are you ready to soak up those summer vibes and unveil your ultimate beach bod? Well, you're in luck because our friends over at Manscaped have you covered from head to toe with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. This ultimate all-in-one grooming kit is set to have you looking and feeling your best in the summer sun. Trust Manscaped and unlock the confidence you need to turn heads this season. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping using the code CricketPod. Let's make this summer your smoothest one yet. I'd say sometimes it really takes a left turn, Manscaped copy. I'd say on this occasion, Max, it's pretty to the point. Do you want to give us your favourite Manscaped grooming story to fill the Manscaped sandwich before I do the call to action?
Yeah, it's pretty straight on the middle. My favourite Manscaped grooming story. I was asked actually by some friends what it's like, the Manscaped gear, because it's become a bit of a thing now. The fact that we're sponsored by Manscaped, and I was very forthright about my experiences, which are all good. So head over to manscaped.com, 20% off. Cricket Pod.
You're looking down at your crotch and then saying forthright with it, which suggests there was a different. You said a different story, and you might have used some actions to bring it to life.
Well, we some of us saw the stag do pictures, didn't we? We'll leave it at that.
Yes, actually, that's true. That's a little treat for Patreons. Patreon.com/cricketpod. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CricketPod at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CricketPod at manscaped.com. The summer sun is here to stay, so trust Manscaped to keep your pubes at bay. There we go. We had a little bit in there, didn't we?
Experience.
Well done, Manscaped. So World Cup squads are out. Let's start with England because we're English and England are the champions and the best team. I've seen a range of different opinions on this one, Ross. I've seen people saying, these are all the obvious selections and it makes sense. I've seen some people say, 6 right-handers in the top 6. And actually, they're the 2 main opinions. What's your opinion?
Well, let's go through it first. So you got Joss Butler as the captain, as we well know, and a lot to prove after the absolute debacle in the ODI World Cup late last year. Moeen Ali finds himself in at the side. Jofra Archer is back. Johnny Bairstow. You just can't leave Bairstow out, can you? Harry Brooks, Sam Curran, Ben Duckett, the England Test match opener. Tom Hartley, recent finger spinner from the India series that was now obviously got global recognition. Will Jacks, after his blistering century last week. Chris Jordan is back for, I think, his 5th T20 World Cup, which just says all you need to know about the experience England are going in, with Liam Livingstone, Adil Rashid, Phil Salt, the current KKR opening partner to Sun on the Rhine, Reece Topley and Mark Wood. Overall, it is an awful lot of experience. Max, you're a Surrey boy. How excited do you see the Chris Jordan back in the England red and blue? Well,
not only T20 Supremo, captain as well now for Surrey in the T20 side. Some decisions have left a little to be desired on the terraces, I have to say, with the captaincy, but he's got sort of everything you want, I suppose, as a cricketer in T20. Right? He can bat a bit as a fast bowler down the order. He's hit some blistering runs for Surrey in the Blast in the last couple of seasons. He's electric in the field, and sometimes he bowls loads of really good Yorkers. Sometimes he bowls loads of full tosses and goes for 25 runs off and over. But you're looking at it and you're like, it is what it is. And also, like, who are you going to pick instead? The options aren't that exciting. There's a lot of experience, like you said. There's also a lot of experience of the treatment table. I think it's the most injury-prone bowling attack I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even know if Jofra Archer is fit. Has anyone seen him in the last 3 months?
He's been playing cricket in the Caribbean, in Barbados.
Okay. Well, he's acclimatizing then. That's
Barbados is actually a wonderful country.
We get a chance, go.
That's an in-joke that might reveal itself. We'll see.
We'll see how well things go.
Definitely visit Barbados.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of tells you all you need to know about England's options with the ball, doesn't it? That England are going back to Chris Jordan, and that's not to slight him, because he's been a phenomenal player for England over the many years. He's had his moments of being chastised, but I think in general he's done a good job for England. But it's like, come on.
It's weird, right? Because England have an awful lot. We've got an embarrassment of riches, I would say.
You say he's not going to play, Jack?
Nah.
Are you telling me Mark Wood, Jofra Archer and Reece Topley are going to last more than 30 minutes?
Okay, so here's the only player that could have been in the squad that isn't in the squad, realistically, if we're not being dumb here, is Gus Atkinson. And if any one of those goes down, Gus Atkinson comes in, because he's about second best of the options that England have to do any of the roles that would come up. Like, he's perfectly sort of adequate in all of them. The reason he hasn't been picked is because he's not as good in the power play as Reece Topley. He's not as good in the middle overs as Wood, and he's not as good at the death or in the power play as Jofra Archer. So it makes complete sense when you put the squad together to do that. And Chris Jordan covers a few more bases if you need somebody to come in at the last minute. But I don't.
Why are we even talking about the bowling? That's the boring stuff. England aren't very good at it. Let's talk about the batters.
Smack sixes. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
smack sixes, take loads of wickets, and that's actually how they're going to win the World Cup again. They'll take loads of wickets. They did last time. They took more wickets than anyone else. I saw a really good stat about Sam Curran at the last World Cup. He bowled half the deliveries that he bowled at the death to number 7s or lower. That's how many wickets England were taking. He never bowled a ball at the death to a number 1, 2, or 3 batter, because England just get them out. So yeah, they sometimes go around the park a little bit, but they've got an idea. Topley takes wickets, Woods takes wickets, Adil Rashid takes wickets, Moeen Ali, he takes wickets, Liam Livingstone takes wickets. Even the backup guys, even the backup to the backup. take wickets, man. Yeah. So England, I quite like the team. I don't think they've made any too massive decisions. It would be nice if Phil Salt could bat left-handed. Ross, you look like you can say something.
Yeah, I think so. And it's interesting they've gone for Tom Hartley in that lineup. People who are new to Tom Hartley, he plays for, is it the Manchester Originals? He rocks out for when it comes to the 100, and he's done reasonably okay actually in the limited format. I
think what I want from a World Cup squad.
Yeah, reasonably okay. That's all you need, Max. You have to also remember, you are limited, right? I think some people on Twitter, especially, can't really get it into their heads that you can only pick from people who are eligible to play for your country. I mean, England pushed the boat of that, or they did.
Try. They do try.
We do really push the boat on that, but you're still limited. You can't just transfer in somebody to be like, oh, England have managed to sign Jasprit Bumrah. They've solved their bowling problem. But batting-wise, I think we are going to be in a pretty enviable position. There's a high risk, high reward approach that's in there. There's some really good players of spin. There's some excellent players of pace bowling, and I won't be surprised if you end up with a batting lineup who, up until number 7, number 8 is going to have a strike rate of over 145, 140 throughout the tournament, where you've got quite a lot of excitement. What that does mean, gents, is that we could be all out to like Scotland for like 60, but we could hit 300 again.
That's part of the fun, though, isn't it?
Mark Watt is going to have a field day against all those right-handers. Mark Watt, it's going to take like 3 for 12.
Friend of the pod, Mark Watt.
Yeah, and then all the rest of the Scottish bowlers are going to feel the wrath of whichever England batters has survived.
That 3 for 12 will be crucial in ensuring that England don't score 300.
Yeah, I do think that there's a little bit of an exaggeration about the top 6 being all right-handed as well, because it's not like Moeen Ali can't bat in the top 6 if they really need a matchup. Or Sam Love Cannon Curran, who has been batting in all sorts of positions for his IPL team to show off his versatility. Has it always been successful? Absolutely not. But he has shown that he is prepared to bat up the order, and
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think Moeen Ali can also fill that role, right, Jack, in that space. So there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of firepower. I'm not sure if they are favourites for the World Cup, but they are certainly up in the top 3. So
I think there's a bracket. Let's do Australia, because theirs is pretty easy. Australia have selected all the people you expect.
Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne, Scott Boland, Alex Carey. Are they all in there?
They bottled big time.
Kawaja.
Jake Fraser-McGurk. What do you think about that, Max? Would you Fraser-McGurk?
It's utterly unsurprising that they bottled it, but it's a mistake from my point of view.
Rattled, don't they? Rattled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just thinking the problem he's got, I suppose, is the whole squad size issue, isn't it? We've been over it before. 15 players. It's not really. I mean, it's a
good squad.
It's a great squad. Jake Fraser-McGurk is missing out because you can only take 15 people, right? One of those backups has to be a wicket keeper, so that's Josh Inglis and Matthew Wade in there. You want someone you're going to need a bowler because they're more likely to get injured, so that's, I suppose, why Ashton Hagar's there. And then you want someone who can fulfill multiple different roles, and they've got bags of people who can do that. Fraser-McGurk could open, and he could probably bat in the top 6. But you're looking at, they've got Mitch Marsh, Cameron Green, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis as all rounders. Tim David is not going to be displaced as a finisher. Travis Head, David Warner, it's and then all the bowlers. It's a really, really good looking side, but just it's disappointing. Imagine how good it could be if Fraser-McGurk did his stuff. I mean, they've got futures.
Yeah, it would be. But the only option they have in that space on that front is to drop David Warner. And Ross, would you be brave enough to drop the bull from his final T20 World Cup?
So I think what's interesting is the type of pitches that are going to be laid out playing in the Caribbean and in the US, and kind of Australia taking that in consideration that, we want to pick people who can probably bat the time, so we've got the flexibility to it. We're going to come on to India's lineup soon enough, and they've gone for a conservative selection. David Warner Whether he's earned the right to have another World Cup is by the by. But as a left-hander in this lineup and somebody who's demonstrated he can hit runs all over the world, I think there is that part. Fraser-McGurk has played a handful of games at the highest level in the IPL and has done really, really well. But if we look at the bowling that's been on show in the IPL this year, it's not been the highest quality. So you can see why there is that trade-off. I personally would have liked to see them take a bit of a risk. But when it comes to Australia, they pick typically their best people in the country, and then they win the World Cup. They didn't even mean to win the last World Cup, right? And they managed to do so.
They were trying to lose.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think this lineup is pretty decent, but it does have its weak points as well, which I think they can be got at a little bit, but they are Australia.
Well, let's move on. South Africa, they've picked pretty much everyone you'd expect South Africa to pick. And Geedy and Berger are the travelling reserves. But when their bowling is their bowling, it's quite hard to put them in. England should do a trade for one of those. Send over Will Smeed.
Send over Ben Duckett.
Yeah, or whatever. Will Smeed, Tom Banton, he used to be good. See if they'll take the bait and do the switcheroo there. I quite like South Africa. When we do a proper preview, I think we'll be fans of them. And New Zealand have picked the same team that they've been picking forever.
It's mental, isn't it? You look at that side, it's all the same. How is it all the same?
There are only 15 cricketers in New Zealand, it appears. Big one, though.
Can we quickly just touch on South Africa?
Yeah, we're going to go into them detail. Jesus, right? Yeah.
Their team is scary good, right? Like the firepower that they have, I think is really, really impressive. And every single time we come into the World Cup, they go, "Could South Africa do it?" On a T20 stage with this lineup, I think there is a lot to be said for it. It is interesting to see people like Nortje. Like all of the evidence suggests that Nortje isn't very good now. There's a lot of, and so it's a little bit of a concern. But with Ngidi and Berger, decent backup. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this team does. So now you can move on.
Cool. Right, and then we've got India, and I'll run through their squad. They haven't named the squad because it's Bangladesh. They'll name it probably 2 or 3 days after the tournament has started, after their first game. I'd have thought. So India have gone for basically all the classics: Rohit, Hardik, Jaiswal,
Gavaskar,
Suryakumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson, Shivam Dubey, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Yuzi Chahal, Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mohammad Siraj. Which means, and I think this is the big talking point, but I'll see where the conversation goes. It means that Shubman Gill and Rinku Singh do not make the team. Max, are you surprised with either of those relatively substantial omissions?
No, I'm not.
No.
Sad to say. To be honest, I think Shubman Gill possibly not there on merit because he's not had a great IPL and he does seem to have this thing where he's only good in Ahmedabad. And Rohit Sharma's the captain. So, you got your right, left, Jaiswal, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill. You don't really need to bat him at 3, so that makes sense. Rinku Singh's a disappointment because he gives them something that they literally don't have in this team, which is someone to come in 6 and finish the innings with loads of 6s. But that would be too exciting and different for the Indian
No,
team.
Jadeja must play in that role. He must do it.
Yeah.
No, it's Akshar. Yeah. We have to play Akshar. Okay, you can pick them both. You can pick them both.
Singh can bat a bit, can't he? Yeah, it's that, isn't it? It's that. So I mean, basically, they're pretending to excite you by picking Shivam Dubey and Sanju Samson finally. But Sanju Samson's a backup wicketkeeper, and Shivam Dubey's not going to play. And if he does play, they might play him as an all-rounder and bowl him 4 overs. So it's just the same old team, isn't it?
Basically, this is my problem with India's lineup. They've got 3 opening batters, and then they've got 4 number 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got, I think, 1 number 8 and 3 number 11s. Like, I think that's not optimal.
It's actually a really hard team to put together, like as an 11, because you either have to bowl Hardik Pandya 4 overs, or
which is suicide.
Or have a really long tail of 4 number 11s, and it's really tricky.
Suicide.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, they're also all quality cricketers, right? If we end up with some quite dusty Caribbean pitches that take a bit of turn and are quite difficult to score runs on, this side is going to win the World Cup.
No.
Their spin bowling is a real strength. In Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzi Chahar, that is fantastic. I'm really glad they've picked Sanju Samson, but he's not going to play, is he? I think if I was them, I'd be playing Sanju Samson. But they're not going to play him. He's going to warm the bench.
I think actually I disagree on a lot of this. Look, India can win the World Cup. India can win the World Cup because lots of the players are very good, and even Rishabh Pant playing in maybe not his best role is still a pretty good player. Yeah. And you can say the same. You can even say the same for Hardik Pandya, if we're honest. Even Hardik Pandya playing in a finisher role, which he's not really shown he can do anymore. Certainly not this IPL, and not too much in international cricket recently either. Even then, there's still the possibility that he could. Like there is something in his locker that's good. Jaiswal, I mean, like he killed England, didn't he, in Test cricket? And I know it's Test cricket and it's a bit different, but he also killed it in the IPL last year, and he's got a ton this year. Like he could single-handedly win the World Cup. And then they've got Bumrah. I think the spin bowling actually isn't that good.
I like it. I think it's good.
No, because it's going to be 4 overs of Jadeja who never take. We were talking about England. How do we?
Oh, okay, but you don't need to play. But I'm thinking of a different team to you. I'm thinking.
Okay, so they're not going. They're going to play one of Kuldeep or Chahal, which is good, but not like the best in the world. Neither of them are Rashid Khan, are they? Like South Africa, I would rather have probably Maharaj and Shamsi, and then
that is bonkers. You are taking a piss. You'd rather have Maharaj and Shamsi over Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal.
But they're not both going to play. South Africa can play both of those players. India can't. It's literally not possible for India to play both those players, in my opinion. Like, because it leaves them too short. And then we're not even onto the seam bowling. I mean, like Bumrah is amazing, yeah. But the next best seamer that they have is what, Mohammad Siraj. He just got dropped by RCB.
And he's like their only bowler, to be fair, as well. That's all you need to know about that.
This guy.
They got Arshdeep.
Arshdeep's pie recently. Absolute
right. Okay, that's a turnaround, isn't it?
This is a big shot.
It's not big. It isn't. If Mohammad
Get your money on India winning this World Cup,
a little bit more comfortable. But I think this is what's happened the last 3 World Cups. Yeah, India have gone in. There's been loads of hype about this player, that player, and the other, and then they've turned up and lost. They've won 10 matches, lost 6, and most of those 10 matches are like Namibia and Scotland.
Is there any hype this year? I don't think
there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype. If you went to a bookmaker now, India would be the favourite. Now, I'm not saying they're not in the bracket of favourites. I think England, Australia, and India are in a bracket where they probably all got a 20% chance of winning the tournament. But I think India would be clear favourite. And this isn't a clear favourite team. They haven't got a finisher. They've still going to have the same problem with Rohit Sharma and Kohli not really being quite modern enough at the top of the order. Surya Kumar Yadav is still the only really, really dangerous player in their middle order. Rishabh Pant, there's a lot riding on him, and it's not the role that he's been playing for Delhi. He won't have the balls to get settled and then launch. And then their batting is extremely meh. Once you get past 7.
Yeah, if there's flat decks, they got no chance. But if it gets a bit dusty and it's all spinny and you can, score 100,
maybe
they'll be all right.
I can see a world. If Jadeja comes into the game loads because all the pitches are really low and slow, then I think they change. The complexion changes, but they're not going to play 2 spinners because their tail will be too long.
They're wusses. That's why.
Yeah, sure.
Jadeja's has also been pants at World Cups as well. I was looking at his record earlier. He
doesn't take any wickets.
Yeah, he's been absolutely pants.
He's not pants in the IPL this year as well.
It's it's a delusion that people suffer under, that this guy he's a holding bowler. And all that means is that later in the inning, someone else is going to get some punishment. Like you have to get people out if you're going to be a frontline spinner. Otherwise, what's the point of you?
Hey, let him bowl his 7th over.
Yeah, well, he's a 7th over specialist. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I've got quite a few problems with this India team. I just think it's really dumb not to pick Rinku Singh. It's really dumb to still be clinging on to the same tired legends that. I mean, like, why are they taking some of these guys? What? Because they'll sell some shirts in India, in America. Is that actually what it is? Is this a marketing plan by
Could be
BCCI? because it's not. It evidently isn't their best cricket team, but that isn't what they're taking here. They're taking,
It probably is their best cricket team,
guys.
not their best T20 team.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair point, Max.
I don't even think it's that.
Anyway, should we move on?
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed with you, India.
Why are you disappointed though? That's the problem. Like you falsely gave us hope that they might do something different to the last 15 years.
No, I want to see the best teams in the world going at it at the World Cup, and
but why did you expect that?
We're not getting that, are we? Like what we're getting is, oh look, Kohli is amazing. Yeah, sell some here, buy a T-shirt with his name on. Woohoo!
Yeah, but no need to be disappointed.
They've got a captain who'd have been dropped.
Never have expected it in the first place, and that's your own fault.
You could pick a team from guys who aren't in this squad in the IPL, and it measures up pretty well. It measures up pretty well. Obviously, the Bumrah and the fact that they've taken both the good leg spinners situation does cause some problems for making an actual functioning 11 or a better 11. But it's I don't know. I mean, even
Stress Goppel's got a thing or two to say about that.
I don't get the bowling. Like, you can't just take 2 bowlers and hope for the best. You need 5. Hardik isn't a decent. Yeah.
Yeah, I lean fully into it. Only pacer, Bumrah. Rest, spin bowling, and a bit of Pandya. Done.
I will say one final thing that I will say as a pro point for the Indian selectors. It is much harder selecting this team than it is the England team. Like England, even every England fringe player has played 30 or 40 T20s around the world in the last 12 months. Like Gus Atkinson is a known quantity. They know all the players in that team. They know exactly where their game is. They know what they're strong against, what they're weak against, which conditions in the world they're good in. In India, they're picking some of these players based on 8 matches in this year's IPL. Or they're dropping Rinku Singh. They're basically dropping Rinku Singh because Sunil Narine has been better than expected. Like if Sunil Narine was just getting out, Rinku Singh would have faced an extra 50 balls and he'd probably have a half century, and that probably would have got him in the squad. But in the 8 games he's played, he's only faced 70 balls or 80 balls, and so he hasn't been able to build a body of work. That's
Agent Narine taking him down from the inside.
It is. Agent Narine has torpedoed India's World Cup. So I don't know. I think it's tough based on that, because maybe Rinku Singh is crap now. Like that is a possibility. We don't actually know that he is the solution. But I would if I had some money, I would bet it on Rinku Singh not being bad and it being a dumb decision. Should we take a break then?
That's a Twatty is not there. And King Legend there's not even a place for King Legend.
Thank God for that.
Do we want to take a break? Then we'll come back. We've got a couple of IPL matches and some previews to do.
Sounds good.
Yes, please.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast. We've got 2 IPL games to get through. We did Chennai already. Mumbai Indians v Lucknow Super Giants and Delhi Capitals v Kolkata Knight Riders. In the IPL this year, there are 2 more games which happened, boys. Roth, what happened with Serious Cricket, though? Serious
Cricket decided to sponsor this brilliant podcast because they are a brilliant kit equipment provider. So if you're in the UK, need a new bat, gloves, helmet, whites, whatever you need, Serious Cricket have you covered. So go to the link in our show notes and get yourself a little treat. Yeah, cool. There we go. Max, what happened yesterday in the IPL?
Well, Jack, it was not too dissimilar story, I suppose, to today. One team batted first. They didn't do very well. Ishan Kishan scored less than a runner ball for his 32. Nel Wadera managed to just about squeak above a runner ball for his 46. And Tim David came in and bashed the ball around a bit, very briefly, to get Mumbai up to a colossal 144 for 7 from 20 overs. And then Lucknow chased it down quite slowly. Marcus Stoinis, 62-45 pick of the players. We saw another Golden Duck impact sub, which we love to see. And it was kind of, looked I don't know. It was one of those where, like,
I thought.
maybe it was one where your commentators like trying to make it sound like, oh, it might go wrong, and then you look at the scorecard and like, oh, it could have gone wrong, but realistically, it was never going wrong. It was a bit back to the bad old days of Lucknow home games, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit. Ross, it was good to see Mayank Yadav back. Another notable omission from the India team.
And then out again.
Out again? Did I miss some news?
Yeah, well, he got subbed off after bowling 3.1 overs because he felt something in his side. But I don't know if it's serious. It was precautionary, really, because by that point was already looking pretty tasty for LSU. But yeah, I think the side was what he injured in the first place, wasn't it? So it was a bit.
It was, yeah.
Bit of a worry.
It says end of IPL campaign for India's. I just completely missed that this happened.
Yeah.
Just breaking news to me. Brett Lee reacts after Mayank Yadav. Brett Lee, the Dr. Brett Lee and Dr. Ganguly.
It's all right, though, because they've got Naveen to take his place as speed merchant, and he went for less than 4 and over, so that's good.
Ross was going to tell us some interesting stuff about the actual cricket instead of reacting to an injury that happened 48 hours ago. What was your point, Ross?
Mumbai absolutely bottled this. And this was the big make or break. And there's a lot of talk about these guys are superstars. They have been absolutely shit throughout the whole of the IPL. And they should all hang their heads in shame, if I'm perfect. If you're a Mumbai fan, I'd be so disappointed with what your team has put out this season. It is time and time again, failure after failure. And this Mumbai Indians team should be too good to actually stand up to it. And it's been really, really disappointing. And this Lucknow team, they aren't anything special. They've put together a string of decent games, but they are overall just there's not many people you'd be like, oh my god, they're playing for them, they're amazing, but they seem to have figured out a little way to work. But this was a really abject performance. And Max, you're right in saying that it was one of those games where it could be close, but 144 is rarely going to be close. You've always got so many things can go wrong and you can still win. And when you've got King Legend in this team, you're guaranteed to get kind of a 30 from him. And immediately you're just like, okay, well, I've only got 110 to chase. Great. Stoinis is in a decent bit of form at the moment. Puran is kind of leading as a proper leader in this team. And overall, they even gave Ashton Turner a run out. So overall, they were almost taking the piss out of Mumbai, if I'm perfectly honest.
Flexing with Ashton Turner.
Yeah, and it's just overall, this team is, really, really disappointing. And ultimately, they're out the tournament now, Mumbai.
Yeah, they are. And they deserve it. They've not been good, as you said, Ross. They've not been good.
And Lucknow, they're on the playoff hunt now. They are well and truly, so they're 6 and 4. They are the top of the buttercream in the IPL cake, and they are doing very, very nicely. And playing, dare I say, above the sum of their parts.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Yeah, if they win, what are their last 2 games? Have you got that up in front of you?
I do. They've got KKR, Sunrisers, Delhi, and Mumbai. So I think
2 games to target there, aren't there?
I think they are in a nice position.
They certainly are. The game before that in the IPL was on Monday. Max, what happened on Monday?
Well, we build this as the one to watch for the week. Could be a run fest. If we saw a good deck, we could see Delhi Capitals racking up some runs, and it could be a real nail biter. And we saw Delhi Capitals fail to rack up many runs at all, and KKR piss all over them. It was a bit of a shame, wasn't it? Delhi Capitals, who they've made a mark recently in getting off to good starts. Fraser-McGurk doing bits, Pant looking good, Stubbs weighing in with runs, but no, the pick of their batters was Kuldeep Yadav with 35 of 26. That's the level we're talking about. It was it was, to be honest.
See, he can bat Jack. He can play for India.
Well, he certainly did the job against England, didn't he? In the Test series. No, it's a classic case, isn't it, with a side like Delhi, when basically you're pretty much entirely indebted to your batting lineup to win your games. You've got to go for it, and if it kind of falls in a heap, then that's going to happen, and it's all very likely to happen when you come up against a middle overs team that KKR are, with people like Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan. It's difficult to score runs off them, and you have to try and score runs. And that means things can go wrong. And they very truly did. 153 for 9, chased down with their eyes closed by KKR. Phil Salt, 68 of 33, did the job, and then everyone else had a bit of fun.
He's having a lovely
you know-
tournament on Phil Salt, isn't he? Lovely tournament.
He is. Do you want to know how lovely, Ross?
Mm.
He is the top run scorer by an overseas batter in this year's IPL.
Very good.
392 runs, averaging 49, striking at 180.
Which you compare to, like,
Pretty good.
Narayan's had all the plaudits, right? Narayan has been kind of front and centre. Oh my God, Narayan's been amazing. Phil Salt.
He has been pretty good.
Yeah, but Phil Salt's been better.
Yeah. Speaking of another
I
KKR
suppose,
player mentioned in the chat, Mitchell Starkwatch still managed to go at 14 and over.
Right.
That's pretty
I rarely defend Australians. Every time Mitchell Stark seems to play for KKR, they seem to win. I don't know why the KKR fans are getting on the bandwagon. He could be as expensive as you like. You're still winning.
He's very expensive. 28 crore, whatever it was.
But sometimes that's what you're going to get. I think Mitch Marsh, I think he's doing all right. Mitch Marsh again. There you go. Mitch Stark is doing all right.
I don't know if he is doing all right.
It's categorically wrong. He's not doing brilliantly.
He's doing terribly.
But look at his win. Look at his win record. Ultimately, that is what it comes down to. Cricket is seen as a game of individuals. It doesn't make any difference if you're Virat Kohli at the moment because you're rock bottom of the IPL. Mitchell Stark, he's near the top. He's doing all right.
Kohli's not even top of the runs anymore, is he? After Gaikwad earlier.
What is life
Gaikwad
worth?
orange cap. Where's Gaikwad? 5 and 5. That's where. Mitch Stark. That's what you're saying. I'm not sure what you're saying.
It's better
What
to
are you
win.
saying?
It's better to win and be on the winning team and contribute a little bit, even if that little bit might be a bit shit, and you're still got a chance of winning this IPL. Whereas if you're brilliant for another team and you've got no chance, is there any point?
Jake Fraser-McGurk out, man of the hour. If he doesn't get Jake Fraser-McGurk out, maybe Delhi scored 280.
Impact player. You're right, Max. Impact player.
I mean, Max, that's not. I think that's something approaching a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, many a true word was spoken in jest, right? It's half a joke, but also it is a thing.
I would
Getting out the other team's best players.
I think overall, I would rather Stark did it this way round than the other way round. So I would rather he got out Jake Fraser-McGurk and then got tonked by the number 9 who had a field day for some reason, then got tonked by Fraser-McGurk and then later on in the innings got out the number 9. One of them is 220 on the board and one of them is 150. So, we're really reaching to help you out here, Mitchell Stark.
Why are we doing this? We're not even sponsored by Mitchell Stark. Maybe we should reach out. There's a little bit of a gap.
Visit Mitchell Stark.
But this was a good win. Overall, this was a good win for KKR. I think that again, it showed out that this was a classic game that they've lost in the last kind of season or two. And actually, I think they did really, really well here. And Shreyas Iyer and Venki Iyer, brothers but not brothers from different mothers, ultimately saw them home. So a decent performance. But Delhi's bowling lineup, mate. Lizard Williams, how the hell has he got a gig in the IPL?
He's got a good name.
Not good enough.
He's got a good name, I think.
Anyway, KKR go riding on, and they are nicely set again. Decent run rate and second to only Rajasthan Royals at the moment. Who's playing tomorrow, Jack?
Who is playing tomorrow? You know what? I'm gonna before we say that, I have 2 more KKR things to say. They played Mumbai twice. They've got Gujarat once, and then they've got the last game of the season is against Rajasthan, and there's a Lucknow game in there as well. I think they could win 4 of them. I think they could really set fire to the whole tournament, have an excellent group stage, and nail on that that top 2 place. The game's coming up, Ross, to answer your question, though. Tomorrow we've got Sunrisers Hyderabad v Rajasthan Royals. Which actually, this is going to turn out to be a reasonably big game in terms of the fun for the rest of the IPL, I think. So, Table situation doesn't matter what happens to Rajasthan; they've qualified. Like, ignore them. Sunrisers, though, they currently sit 5th. They've got 5 wins, 4 losses. They're 5th because CSK are above them on net run rate, but CSK have played a game more. If Sunrisers win, they've got a win advantage on CSK with 4 games to go. And we're starting to see, I think, at that point, it looking
Cream's beginning to melt.
difficult. It will look It will be difficult for one of the teams below 5th to catch up. So that's what they're playing for. What's going to happen, Max?
So we're saying we want a Rajasthan win to keep excitement alive.
I think that's a win for Rajasthan is a win for the IPL. But
in that case, it's Sunrisers all the way for me.
I kind of would rather the Sunrisers made the playoffs than
No, I mean they've been a bit
Delhi.
of a slump, haven't they? A couple of defeats, and then coming up against the Kings of Rajasthan Royals, it's going to be a tough game for them. But I feel like there's something that needs to turn for both of these sides, right? Rajasthan have won 4 on the bounce. Sunrisers have lost a couple. I can see things turning back around. Sunrisers, you can't keep their batting lineup down for too long, right?
Yeah, they won 4 in a row before they lost 2 in a row, so they're not too bad.
Their batting lineup is far too good to stay down for too long. So I'm gonna go with a home win for the Sunrisers, but it'll be tough. But I reckon, back to winning ways for the Orange Boys.
Fair enough. Ross, any thoughts from you?
I would like to see SRH actually pick some proper cricketers for once, which would be quite nice. They seem to be giving a couple of people a go who don't really deserve to have a go. And I'm a little bit, what's the word? Let down, I think, by them not picking their best 11, 12
Do you want to
players.
see Washington Sundar back into the team?
Well, apparently, there's widely reported. Apparently, he was the one who just missed out on the World Cup place.
No, I heard it was a 3-way shootout between Akshar Patel, Rinku Singh, and Washington Sundar for the 15th place. So in what world do you end up in that scenario where you've got your best finisher, your best left arm spin bowler, and a guy who is making his IPL team competing for one place? Like, what's the process of elimination that got you there?
I don't know. Just make bloody Virat Kohli bowl off spin. We could do everything else. I'm sure it'll be fine. Rohit Sharma bowls off spin. Probably about as good as Washington and Sundar. So let's move on. But SRH, I think, just some of their decision making over the last couple of games has been a bit iffy. And we can expect that from the Hyderabad franchise. But I think the Pat Cummins will right the ship, and this will be a pretty close game. There is a question on the complacency. Rajasthan Royals have been pretty ruthless so far. Can they get a couple of more wins underneath their belt and make sure that they finish the season in a really nice position right at the top to put themselves in a good position for the playoffs? Obviously, they might not have Josh Butler if they do reach the playoff final. So
we haven't mentioned this, did we? This is going to come out of this. Could be a random bit, but we're going to have to mention this. England have unilaterally decided, which is really the only way that they could decide. Unilaterally, not a word that was required in that sentence. England have decided that their players will be coming home from the World Cup around the time of coming home for the World Cup, around the time of the eliminator, which, as you say, Ross, means no Phil Salt, no Josh Butler. Don't know if it really affects anyone else. No Will Shacks.
No
Livingston, no Curran, no Bairstow,
no
Moeen Ali.
Yeah, it could have a little bit of an impact on some of these, but worst for Rajasthan, you would say.
Well, maybe they can open with that Kotian again and just have a bit of a laugh in the chat, being suggested.
Do you know what I think about that?
And plan for the future?
Do you know what I think about that? Fair enough. If I'm England, I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm saying we pay you £1 million a year, come home, and I don't know, send a cry more emoji to the Rajasthan Royals. This is a classic case of cricket thinking it's a rich sport when it isn't. Like, tiniest bit of money, and everyone's like, "Oh, cricketers are so well paid," and it's just like, no,
not in the grand scheme of sport.
Yeah,
sorry. Well, there we go. I think my pink boys will put up a good fight. Has been my view. So I think this would be a pretty good game.
Yes, I agree. And then Friday is Mumbai Indians v the Kolkata Knight Riders. Inexplicably, Mumbai Indians are again the favourites for this. I have no idea why. Basically, Kolkata Knight Riders are the team that Mumbai Indians think they are. I.e., good and fun. Mumbai, they're a train wreck, Max. It's a train wreck. I don't know what happens. You can't really fix a train wreck, can you?
No, they've fully derailed.
Killing everyone on board. Is that where you're going with that analogy? Don't know.
Only minor injuries. Fortunately, no casualties on the MI train. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it and you think, well, they're at home, like good opportunity for their batters to score some runs, but they're all bang out of nick, and KKR's batters are doing quite well. So it's probably as good for KKR to play at the 1KD as it is for Mumbai. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to see past KKR. But I mean, the thing is, Mumbai have got so much quality with their batting lineup that they could post a big total. And KKR is the kind of team where Bumrah could come and just ruin everything. Narai could be out very cheaply.
I will
you
say
kind of
that.
see it, can't you?
Yeah, the Ryan and Phil Salt v Bumrah. We've had this discussion a few times. Like KL Rahul, Stoinis.
Yeah,
I think they can deal with Bumrah. They've got some technique. Phil Salt and Narayan, that's not.
I think putting Phil Salt and Narayan together is a bit harsh on Phil Salt, by the way. I think that is a bit. Let's put that out there.
Maybe, but I think I don't back KK. I don't back those two like I back some of the other batters in the IPL.
Mate, you're not backing Venki Iyer, are you? Venki Iyer's got no chance against Bumrah. He's just like, you might as well. Yeah, Shreyas Iyer, one bouncer, he's out. Dre Russ, questionable as well. So yeah, I don't know about that.
Dre Russ absolutely loves being yorked and falling over. But I think,
to me, Jack, sounds like Mumbai are rightly favourites.
Mumbai are going to win. I think we've come to that conclusion. Right? Is there anything else we need to cover off?
They've put it on a good night, right? If Mumbai should be in the playoff hunt. Friday night, Mumbai Indians as KKR. That is a box office game. No, they've actually done a bit of scheduling which works quite nicely there.
Yeah,
for us,
a shame.
In our pod.
It's just a shame what happened before, isn't it? Right, look, anything else that we need to cover? We've done a lot on this show. We've done World Cup squads, we've done IPL, we've done... I don't know.
Right, well, I'll come full circle.
We said we would do.
Yeah, so if you want access to our Discord, which is amazing this tournament and beyond and before, go on to patreon.com/cricketpod and sign up for as little as $4 a month. And I want reviews. I'm putting my money where my mouth is on this. Whoever writes the best review for us, and you know what? I'm going to expand it. 50. The opening 50, not the opening first 10, opening 50. I'll make it more difficult for myself. You'll get a T-shirt on it. So whichever the best review is out of the 50, you will get a T-shirt.
50 reviews?
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for. We've got 250 people watching this live. We're going to have another 2,500, 3,500 listening on their podcast. Get onto it, do it, and I'll read it out on the podcast.
Does the competition only start when 50 have come in? So no T-shirt unless we get 50.
Or could it be one immediately? Someone just writes the best ever review.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, well,
it's
the Catalina wine mixer of the Cricket Podcast. You don't know what's going to happen because we don't know what's going to happen. So do it.
This is what happens when you come up with marketing plans on the fly, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Friday.